The movie I researched was Zero Dark 30, released in 2012. This movie has been put into its own new category apart from World War II and Vietnam-style movies called New Vision. The New Vision genre is seen largely in movies after 9/11. This is because there is a large change in mentality in the US military after 9/11. This change is demonstrated clearly in the Iraq War. These changes are due to a large increase in respect and authority, purpose, and the drastic change in the style of combat used. These changes in styles of combat were largely due to the attacks on 9/11 on the World Trade Center in New York City. The US military now had a much more refined purpose of combat and respect and authority after the attacks. The goal was to make combat much more tactful. This would allow much less military deaths on the US side and much more civilian casualties killed on the other. Rather than throwing thousands of troops at a fight, they wanted to make everything much more strategy-based to save American lives. But because of this, torture in Abu Ghraib prison arose. This was because the US military felt that rather than sending troops into the fight to find information, they would try to torture the information out of inmates at Abu Ghraib prison. The only thing is, the torture was not only for information. It was also a form of revenge for the US military for all of the lives lost during 9/11. The US military did not only want to find and terminate Osama bin Laden, they also felt that these Muslims and people living in Iraq, Pakistan, and most of the Middle East were creatures that deserved to be punished. They were willing to do anything necessary to take down al-Qaeda, and especially kill Osama bin Laden. Finding this man here was priority number one, but many things were skewed in the face of combat. Many key points in the discovery of Osama bin Laden were delayed or neglected to continue the torture going on in Abu Ghraib prison and elsewhere. This caused the purpose of the movie to be very clear, but the respect and authority was wavering. The figures in positions of authority throughout the movie clearly had respect from the people below them, but there was much skepticism in this respect. Once light had been shown on the torture going on abroad, it was shut down. The military could no longer torture the people they were holding, so things slowed to a crawl. But the head analyst at the CIA would not let this go down easily. She was very determined to keep things running smoothly. Unfortunately, not everyone else around her was willing to keep up the pace. At this point, everything becomes skewed, and it becomes the war movie that many people have seen before, where much respect has been lost, the purpose is unclear, and everything seems to be stopping. But Maya, seemingly the only one who cared, was working overtime to get the job done, and was on her boss's back to get things moving. After gathering information that she felt showed 100% the location of Osama bin Laden, she pressured and pressured, but could not get her opinions shown. Nobody else had faith in her information and didn't want to send troops in where they didn't need to go. But finally, the cogs started turning, and the respect started going its way. At this point, it was agreed that they would raid the safe house in Pakistan where they thought Osama bin Laden would be living. This is when Maya went to the Navy SEALs for help. Justin, the acting commander of the Navy SEALs, was confident in Maya's jurisdiction and was ready to help. Now there is a clear line of respect and purpose, and the combat is starting to be shown. There is a clear and definite chain of authority where Maya is at the head. Justin, played by Chris Pratt, the lead of the Navy SEALs, is at the head of his team. Throughout the raid, Justin's orders are followed and his team respects him. Everybody knows what's going on because he's leading the team. The combat shown in this movie is much more tactful and slowly played out than anything that has been seen before. Rather than throwing tons of men at bomb-stricken fields with machine guns firing through the air, the military has planned this raid out step by step and knows exactly what's going to happen with backup plans along the way. All because of the attacks on 9/11. This is why the US wants to show that their military is a significantly superior force and can take down any foes without having any casualties on their own side. This is why this movie is considered a new vision genre film.